On the heels of the huge Supreme Court ruling on Friday, the DOJ now continues to implement President Trump's immigration agenda. Earlier today, the department filed a lawsuit against sanctuary city policies in Los Angeles following the recent lawlessness and the riots that have plagued that city. And last week, the DOJ filed a complaint against Minnesota, challenging laws providing in-state tuition benefits to illegal immigrants. Still, Democrats are going way out of their way to resist everything that President Trump does. One software developer has now created an app to warn people when ICE agents are nearby. And this morning, fake news CNN appeared to promote the app. How nice of them. Take a look.
I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether. You open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data.
And meanwhile, President Trump is set to visit the grand opening of what is now being dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. That is a detention center in the Everglades for illegal immigrants. And the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is with us with more. Madam Attorney General, great to have you, as always. Let's start with these lawsuits, the one against Los Angeles and last week in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, Sean, in Los Angeles, what L.A. was doing, and we also sued Karen Bass, the mayor, directly. What they were doing is they were prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens, and you cannot do that. These sanctuary policies are the root of the cause of violent crime in our country, in L.A. We saw it with the riots. We had to send out DEA, FBI, ATF, our U.S. Marshals, jeopardize their safety to help enforce the laws of Los Angeles. We're not going to protect illegal aliens over Americans. No longer. It's stopped. We have sued New York, Illinois, Colorado, New Jersey, and now we've sued Los Angeles, and we will continue to sue you if you do not follow the laws of our country.
Well, Mamdani, I noticed, made that pledge about not helping or following the law. We do have the supremacy clause in the Constitution. Right. They do have jurisdiction, is my understanding. But isn't that the same for every sanctuary city or state?
Yeah, and what Dabi is saying in New York is utterly ridiculous. It's making mainstream anti-Semitism, Sean. This guy is out of control. What he's been doing, what he's been saying, he wanted to defund, do away with NYPD. It's so frightening. And the things about anti-Semitism should scare us all, given what happened with the Holocaust Museum, given what happened in Boulder, Colorado, and we just lost that victim, as you know, the 82-year-old victim who was firebombed, given what happened in the UK with that concert saying all these anti-Semitic things. Someone like that is very dangerous, not only for New York, but for our entire country. So we're going to keep fighting for the citizens of these cities. If these mayors and these candidates for mayors won't do it, Donald Trump will, including Tim Walz, Governor Tim Walz in Minnesota.
Let's talk about, I mean, the administration racked up a series of very powerful decisions last week, including the nationwide injunction. Let's go through the importance of those decisions and how it impacts the administration.
Well, it impacts everything President Trump has done, his agenda, everything he's trying to enact under his powers of the executive branch. It blocked our tariffs. It affected our military readiness. It affected immigration. It affected our foreign affairs. It affected us eliminating fraud throughout the government. No longer. They were allowing district court judges to serve as emperors, basically, for the entire country. We've had 285 lawsuits against us. Of the 40 injunctions that have been issued against President Trump's administration, 35 of them were in 5 districts: Maryland, D.C., Massachusetts, Colorado, and Washington State. Not shocking to you, I'm sure, Sean, but no longer. It violated the separation of powers on which our nation's government was founded, and they cannot seize power from the executive branch any longer. President Trump now can enact his agenda. It was a huge win. We've had so many big wins recently for President Trump because the American people elected him by an overwhelming majority and the Electoral College. And that's so important because his message when he ran was crystal clear. And that's what he's able to enact now based on this great ruling with a 6-3 opinion authored by Justice Barrett at the Supreme Court. We also won transgender books, that parents have the right to choose whether their children have to read transgender books. I've seen some of these things. They are disgusting. No one would want to read these, especially a child in school. And now the Supreme Court confirmed that parents do have rights. That also came out last Friday. And as I mentioned before, we also sued last week Governor Walz in Minnesota for tuition for illegal aliens. You can't do that. Once again, these governors, these states are prioritizing illegal aliens over our students. They're treating our students like second-class citizens, and the Trump administration is not going to put up with it. It ends, and it ends now.
You know, we've had Tom Homan on many times on the program, and he's talked about a dramatic increase in violence against ICE agents,
Yes.
over 450%. I mean, really scary numbers. If you have or put out an application or a warning system that ICE agents are in the area, are you guilty of obstruction? Are you guilty of aiding and abetting in that case? And by the way, if you're a sanctuary state, does that status aid and abet just the very status of it?
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. And people obviously are ICE agents, all of our federal agents who are working hand in hand on these task forces, our federal agents from the Justice Department could be injured. He's giving a message to criminals where our federal officers are, and he cannot do that. And we are looking at it. We are looking at him, and he better watch out because that's not a protected speech. That is threatening the lives of our law enforcement officers throughout this country. And shame on CNN. I just saw that for the first time when you showed it, that they're promoting that app. That's shame on them for doing that. That could hurt our law enforcement officers who are out there protecting them, protecting all of us every single day.
You know, the only reason that we even drew any attention to it was because you were on the program. And I wanted to make sure that you did see it because nobody watches CNN, to be very honest. And it's important that, but these things do get out there in the ether, and people do know about them. And people, there's a lot of chatter in social media. And I want people to know that if they're involved in this, they are putting ICE officers' lives in jeopardy. Or if they dox the homes of ICE officers, that scares me too. What happens to them?
That's right. You cannot dox you. We're finding you. People don't think that we can find you. We are finding you. We've made that abundantly evident by the cases that we're making. No longer will crime be rampant in our country, and we will protect the great men and women in law enforcement. I feel like, Sean, what has happened to this country where our police officers are out there every day? There's no ordinary day in the life of a police officer. They're out there protecting all of us every day. They're protecting CNN. They're protecting everyone. Yet these people are so against law enforcement officers, whether you're a candidate for mayor in New York City or you're some network of promoting an app. You're warning people about that app and not to use it. And thank you for that.
Defund, dismantle, no bail, let the criminals go free, and fire the cops and hire social workers. That's the platform of the Democratic Party. Attorney General Pam Bondi, as always, thank you. Great job. And also great job getting these known terrorists that are in the country as well. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.